Hello, Professor Toybox here along with Baloo, and today I'm going to start showing you how to build the toy box for Mickey's Safari that I showed you last time. This will be a relatively short series, only about 6 episodes in total, because it isn't a particularly difficult build. The logic will take some time to hook up, but it isn't difficult, it's just time consuming. Anyway, my goal today is to lay out the base layer of the terrain, and then next time I'll add in the rest of the terrain for the hills and mountains. Now to build this toy box, you're going to need the 2 Lion King Toy Box customization discs. The first is the King's Domain, which provides the Sky Dome and the music. And the second is Simba's Pride Lands, which provides the terrain theme. If you don't have those power discs, you could use any kind of grassy terrain theme that you want, and anything you want for the sky. Baloo's Jungle would work, or the Dragon's Flight sky, or the Disney Castle sky. Those would all be good choices. Of course, you'll need the Sky Changer for that, and if you're not sure how to use that, check out episode 3 of my Toy Box Tutorials series. But for right now, let's begin by going into Spark mode and taking a quick look at the Sky Dome, because this is going to determine the orientation for the toy box. And by default, when we place this down in an empty toy box, we're facing this way, which I believe is towards the east and the sunrise. And in that direction we have a canyon. We've got the Rafiki's tree over there, and jungle over that way, and Pride Rock. And so I actually want the player to come into the toy box facing the opposite direction. So I'm going to take the start pad here and flip it around 180 degrees so that when we enter the toy box we're facing that way. And this is just a preference of mine. The mountains that I'm going to put down are going to kind of cover up that Pride Rock because I'm going to use the set piece in my toy box, so there doesn't need to be 2 Pride Rocks. So that's one of the reasons I'm going this direction, but it doesn't really matter. So the next thing we'll do is style this block, and we're going to use Simba's Pride Lands. I've already placed the power discs down on the base, as you see. I'll set this to be my theme. We're going to keep this starting block here. Alright, and then the next block we're going to put down is going to be the block that's half that size, or the next size smaller rather. It's really a quarter of that size. We're going to line this up on this corner of this box facing Rafiki's tree like that. So we've got a little bit of an L shape going on here. And that start pad, by the way, is about where we're going to begin in the actual toy box here, so we'll leave that there for now. But I'm scrolling left, I'm looking for the river pieces. We're going to put down the river first. I think that's a good thing to put down, and then we'll build everything else around it. So here's our river pieces, and we'll begin with this river bend. We're going to drop this in this corner right like this. And then a square piece over here, one over here, and we're just going to kind of build the river around the 2 blocks that I've already put in. Rivers are supposed to be winding, twisting things, and that's how you normally see them in nature. They don't go in a straight line. So this is what I'm trying to capture here a little bit. We're going to put down 1, 2, 3, followed by another river bend. Followed by 2 of these, and another bend, and another bend, and then the lake. And this lake will sit flush with those 2 blocks like that. And we don't have a lake piece that has an inlet and an outlet. So what we'll do is put down another little lake piece over here, followed by another bend. And this will kind of give the illusion like the river continues. This is the watering hole that's at the base of Pride Rock that I'm building right now. We'll put in another little straight piece, and then another turn, and then 2 straight pieces, and we'll stop at this point. And let me just back up and show you what I have so you can kind of see what I've built so far. So that's the water that we have so far. And now we'll go ahead and fit the terrain in around that. So I'm going to pick up the piece that we started with, and we're going to put down 4 of these in this direction. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll scoot over to the left one, and we're going to put down 3 more. 1, 2, 3, like that. And actually we could put down a 4th one as well. All right, and then we'll scoot over to this little corner. We're going to drop 1 in here like that, and we're going to put another 2 down going this way, and then we'll scoot up this way, and we're going to do a row of 5. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and another row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is a good chunk of terrain. And then we're going to grab the small terrain block and come up here to this corner. And we're going to put down 8 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we'll stop there. And you'll see why I'm putting those out next time when we put the mountain in over here, because this is just creating a nice straight edge for the end of the toy box in that direction. And then in here we're going to put in the next size larger and just kind of plug this gap like that. And then just to kind of fill in this gap here, we'll put in 3 of those. And we'll put in a larger piece here. And another piece there. And 1 more piece in this corner. Just like that. And then over on this side of the river, we're going to put in 2 of these smaller pieces there. We'll plug this little gap. And then we'll put a large piece right in here. So I'm just kind of building in around that river. And at this point, we'll go ahead and stop with this large piece, because what's going to fit inside that area are some canyons. And so to start blocking those in, we're going to come over back to this end of the toy box over here. And we're going to start with this half-size piece, and I'm going to put in 1, 2, 3. And another one here in this corner like that. All right. And then we'll go to the next size larger, and we're going to drop down to the next level. And I'm not exactly sure where this has to go under here, but I do know that this edge needs to line up with the left edge there. And I want this to line up with the right edge of the block way down there, but I'm not exactly sure how to line that up right from here. So we're going to stop with this block and leave that there. And I think we got to go build this out, this peninsula out just a little bit further. So let's come back up here, because I forgot section here. It doesn't end with that big block. We're going to put down 4 of these. So 1. The little flick didn't work. There's 2, 3, 4. And the next size larger is going to sit right in here. So 1, 2, and then another one here like this. So we have that bit of a cliff coming out there. And now we'll go down to the small piece, drop this down, and I'm lined up with the right edge of that block. And now I can bring this out and connect up to this block. And we'll put down 3 of those to get over there. And now I know where the edge is there, so we'll pick this block back up and slide it to the left. And line up the left edge there. And one more puts us there like that. Okay. So now we're starting to work on this lower area. Next size smaller. Come in over here and drop this in this little corner. We're going to put in 1, 2, and then we'll put in the lake for the lower watering hole. And to do that, I'm going to come pick up this piece to get back to that part of the drawer. And come back and pick up the lake, and that's facing the right orientation. You might have to spin yours around, but that's the way we want that to go. All right, and then with that in place, well, let's see, we're right here on the watering pieces. Let's grab this little river piece. We'll drop the first one in here like this. All right, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, followed by a bend, followed by another bend, followed by another straight piece, and then a bend, and another bend, and then this will go right up like that. And just so we don't have a gap under the terrain there, we'll go ahead and go one further. And then we'll put in this little waterfall piece up here on the top. I'm going to use this one, but you can use the smaller one if you wanted to. Personally, I kind of like that one. That's a little too short. These, of course, aren't going to fit in there. And that just looks a little too bland to me, so that's why I chose that one. So that's where the river goes when it hits the bottom. All right. And then we'll go ahead and fit in a couple more pieces of block under here. So we got this little gap here we got to fill. We're just going to put 2 in like that. And then we'll go to the next size larger, and this is going to sit in over here like this. And we'll stop at that point. We have a little bit more terrain we got to put down, but we'll see what we need after we put the canyons in, and that's our next step. So we're going to start over here. And we'll go left from these pieces. I think that might be the quickest way to get there. We're going to use these cliff pieces a little bit later. Let's go ahead and put one down now, just so we can find these again later when we need them. Get to them quickly enough. So we'll put one there. And we're going to keep going left to find those canyon pieces. And this is what I'm looking for. So the first one we're going to drop right in here like this. And then at this point we're going to put in a T. And we want the hole facing that way. And then the bend, and this canyon here, is basically going to follow the river. So it kind of looks like the river has worn a channel here in the ground. And we'll just put in one block and stop at that point. So there's our river. And then we'll come back up here to the T that we put in. And we'll put in a canyon bend. And these canyons basically give you something different, because the grasslands are pretty flat. We're going to add some hills and stuff next time, but it's pretty flat and interesting up top. And these canyons give you some place to explore that kind of makes sense given the terrain and everything that's here. So I put a T in there. We'll plug this hole with this little end piece. And then off of this corner, we're going to put in another bend. Followed by another bend. Followed by another T with the hole facing out, going away from us. And another canyon end over here. Another turn over here. And then we'll put in this canyon divide. We're going to put it in, let's see, I think I like it like this. Let me double check my screen grab here. Yeah, I like that better like that. Okay. So that's the orientation for that. And then a canyon bend. And we're going to put in 1, 2 of these, followed by another bend, and this will exit out into this lower area over here. And then up on this end, we'll put another bend, followed by a canyon end. A couple of straight edges back here, followed by a bend. And then we're going to build a kind of a big hole in the ground here at this point. Alright, so those are our canyons. And it's a little bit of a maze, and the idea is if the player jumps down in there from above, then they got to find their way out. You can also enter from the 2 entrances over on this side and find your way through. And so now that we have those down, let's go ahead and put the floor in for this area. So we'll pick this piece up and put it down. We're going to put in a piece over here like this, and another piece which plugs the gap under the waterfall there and also fills that area in. And then we're going to put in one piece here and another piece under there. Okay, and that's it for the floor of this. And then let's fill in the holes around this area. So we'll grab the next size smaller. This is going to sit actually right in here next to this canyon, like this. Another one there. Another one right up in here, like that. We'll put in 2 along here. One in this corner. One over here. And I'll actually do 3 of those. And then we can put a large one in this gap. Got a little hole over here to fill. And I got some holes here to fill too. And yeah, I know we have a gap underneath here. but I'm not worried about that because these cliff pieces are going to plug that. Alright, so there are the canyons. And up in here we want to add a ramp to get down here with the mounts and vehicles, and to be able to get out of here with a mount or a vehicle. So we'll start, let's see, not with the small slope, this slope. We're going to put this in right up here like that. Drop this down and bring this right up here like that. And then we have a gap to plug underneath those. We can do that with this piece. Like that. So there's our ramp to get to the lower area with a vehicle. Alright, and then let's go ahead and put these canyon pieces in, and I think we'll be done for today. So for this one, I'm going to put that in like that, and just to keep it from being repetitive and also give the player a way to get up top over on this side, we'll put that in. Put this little corner piece in, followed by the cliff corner. Followed by that. This just adds a really nice decorative edge. I mean, you have the texture from the rock here along the side of the blocks there, but it's just really square. And this just adds a lot of detail and interest, and that's really necessary because there's not a lot of detail in this toy box. You have mostly flat grassy lands as you look around the Sky Dome. A few plants and rocks here and there, but that's really about it. So these rock textures here add some much needed detail to this area of the toy box at least. And that's really important. Okay, so there's this lower area. That's pretty much done. Back here, we're going to add in some cliffs around the edge of this so it doesn't look so square. So in each of these corners, we'll put a cliff corner. And then we'll add the large cliff in between them. I had some plans for this little area down here. And the idea is if the player comes down into this area, the only way to get out is to follow the maze of canyons. There's nothing climbable here. So unless you're playing with a flying character, the only way they can get out of here is to go through the canyon maze. And I kind of like that. Gives you something to do in this toy box. And then this area over here, this looks really flat, but I can't really do much over here because I have this waterfall that I really want to keep. So what we're going to do is put in just a couple of these little corners just to kind of round that off a little bit and make that look a little more finished. And then we have a gap down on this side that's not covered up by the cliff corners. So underneath that we need to put something. And that should take care of that. A large block that's over here on the other side has already plugged that gap. Alright, so there we go. It looks really good so far. And it also looks really flat, as you can see. So next time, we'll put down some extra terrain for the hills, and then we'll build the mountains on the south side of the toy box. And then there will be one more build episode after that to add the buildings and plants and decorations. But until next time, I want to thank you for watching. I know this kind of toy box doesn't appeal to everyone. A lot of people just want an action adventure where they can battle enemies or go on a quest of some kind, but I want to show people that there's so much more to Disney Infinity than that, and I think it's nice that we have a greater variety of things that we can do. Speaking for myself, I find this particular toy box to be a fun and relaxing one to play in. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel before you go, if you haven't already done that, and make sure the notifications are on so you'll never miss an episode. Have a great day.